Has Ford found something, or has Chevrolet begun to slip? Maybe it's a bit of both. Let's discuss. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. Chevrolet has won more NASCAR Cup Series races than anyone this year. Chevy has 9, Toyota has 7, but Ford is closing the gap quickly, getting their 5th win of the year with Ryan Blaney at Pocono. We'll talk about that and much more, but first, I want to talk to you about Soldiers Angels. They're a national 501c3 nonprofit providing aid, comfort, and resources to the military, veterans, and their families. The organization was founded in 2003 and over the last 20 years has grown from a mother sending care packages to her son deployed in Iraq to a national nonprofit with a larger volunteer network than any charity of its kind. Soldiers Angels is the largest food assistance provider exclusively to veterans in the country, supporting over 45,000 families in 2023 alone. As a nonprofit, Soldiers Angels relies on donations to continue to support the military-connected community. Head to soldiersangels.org/NASCAR to show your support, to make a donation. And there are plenty of in-person and virtual volunteer opportunities. You can register as an Angel volunteer. You can send your own care packages, write letters and cards to deployed service members. Really is a great program. Again, head to soldiersangels.org/NASCAR or click the link down below to learn more. I appreciate your time on that. Let's start with some breaking news. According to TobyChristie.com, Getty Motorsports, Xfinity Series team, has laid off the majority of their employees as of this morning. And public record indicates they filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy back in April, with their debt being upwards of $400,000. It has been a tough go lately for Johnny Davis's team, a long-time NASCAR Xfinity Series staple going back decades. Both cars missed the show at Chicago. I was there. I actually talked to both Johnny and his wife. Then at Pocono, they were supposed to bring 2 cars, scratched one at the last minute. Thomas Annunziata, who was actually on this show a few weeks back, finished 28th at Pocono in his first NASCAR Oval start. But it has been touch and go for a while now. It's been years since the old Flex Seal red fleet of cars with Ross Chastain, a fringe playoff contender. It's difficult to keep up with the rising costs and increased competition of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. If you listen to my podcast Power Hour with Brendan Poole, we often talk about this. Obviously, I've worked with JD Motorsports in the past and actually was planning on maybe doing something fun with them later this year. I guess that's all kind of up in the air now, but they're good people over there, and you always hate to see folks lose their jobs or miss out on an opportunity. I don't know what the future for JD Motorsports looks like. It sounds like they're planning on bringing a car to the next race, though I noticed that Garrett Smithley, who has often brought his funding to JD Motorsports for one-off opportunities, it sounds like he's about to start for Alpha Prime. So he has clearly taken his money elsewhere. I'm not sure what happens to JD Motorsports, but again, they were once a fairly competitive, small-scale operation who unfortunately now I think has fallen behind. It's very difficult to make financial sense of the NASCAR Xfinity Series, quite honestly. I respect Johnny Davis and JD Motorsports for being in it as long as they have been, and I hope they're able to still be in it for many years to come. I guess only time will tell. I put the link to the Toby Christie article down in the description below if you'd like to read it for additional details. Just wanted to share my reaction as someone who has worked with the team in the past. You guys often share your reactions on this show. Let's take one of your recent comments from Out of the Crowd for this next segment. Ryan Blaney, Team Penske, big win at Pocono, surprised me. I think surprised a lot of others. Kun J Dog on my last video commented, people came in worrying about Ford. They came in and proved everyone wrong. I think they are now a force to be reckoned with. Thank you for the comment. Thank you all for leaving comments. Yes, Ford with a big weekend at Pocono. Obviously, Ryan Blaney and Team Penske getting the win on Sunday, but Cole Custer got Ford their first Xfinity Series win of the season on Saturday. No doubt, Ford has found something. On the Cup side, they went winless in February, March, April. It wasn't until mid-May when Brad Keselowski broke the winless streak at Darlington. And it was around that same time that rumors began to surface that Roush Yates engines, Ford, had found something. Maybe they were trying something new. And it sure seems like since then that something new has worked. In the past 8 races, Ford has won 4 of them. All 3 Team Penske drivers have made it to victory lane. Ford has clearly gotten better, but I think this trajectory was always expected. It now appears as though Chevrolet has actually fallen behind. Chevy started the year hot, but in the last 2 months, they only have 2 Cup wins, and they both came at road courses. Larson at Sonoma, Bowman at Chicago. Meanwhile, Richard Childress Racing is a disaster area. Their cars are 18th and 32nd in points, and Trackhouse is struggling by their standards. Sure, Daniel Suarez got that win early in the season, but he only has 1 top 10 finish the past 12 races. That's no good. And Ross Chastain, some of it due to incident, has fallen to 16th on the playoff grid. He is in serious danger of missing the playoffs. Other Chevy teams like Spire are 23rd, 30th, and 34th in points, not great. And Ricky Stenhouse Jr. has clearly taken a step backwards after a very solid 2023. Ford has clearly gotten better. I think Toyota has been very good throughout the season, as long as their engines aren't exploding. But I think we're finally seeing the result of Toyota and Ford introducing a brand new car, a brand new body style, and Chevrolet using something that's now become outdated. At the beginning of the year, Toyota and Ford's notebooks on the new Camry, the new Mustang Dark Horse were very thin. They had very little real-world data. Over the past few months, they've built out their notebook. They have tons of data. While Chevrolet, who started the year with a full notebook, has seemingly maybe plateaued. They've learned all they possibly can about their Chevy Camaro. I think that's why you're seeing most Chevy teams struggle, especially the past couple months. Hendrick Motorsports has largely been immune to these struggles because they're Hendrick Motorsports. 40 years strong, most successful team in NASCAR, the whole story. A lot of credit goes to Ford for sure, but it is interesting to see how Chevrolet started the year versus where they're at now midway through the year. I'm sure just about every Chevrolet team is very excited about whatever car they bring to the Cup Series next year. The Camaro is being discontinued. NASCAR has said they can continue to run the Camaro style, the Camaro branding as long as they want, but there's rumors that GM has something else in the works. Your guess is as good as mine, but with how close the competition is in the NASCAR Cup Series, I'm sure every Chevy team would love to see a new car with the most up-to-date research and development designed to compete with the new Camry, the new Dark Horse. Will it be a redesigned Camaro? Could we see a rebrand to Cadillac? Your guess is as good as mine. We'll have to wait and see. But to address that comment, Ford deserves a ton of credit for their recent surge, but I think we're seeing overall trajectories cross, which is going to make this push to the playoffs all the more interesting. Thank you for the comments. As always, I read just about every comment I get under every single video. I know, I joke, I'm chronically online. I do see almost everything you guys say. Keep leaving comments, and who knows, might address your comment in an upcoming Out of the Crowd segment, always spontaneous. It is Monday, the start of a brand new week, which means it's time for the latest edition of my Out of the Groove Power Rankings. Every week, I try to rank the 10 best, the 10 fastest overall teams and drivers in the NASCAR Cup Series. This is an interesting week. Let's get started. First off, can we look at last week's Power Rankings? Yeah, 8 of these guys finished inside the top 10 at Pocono this weekend. We finally got a straightforward race, no surprises, and what do you know? The most consistent teams all year showed up. Now, because most everyone had good finishes, you're not going to see a ton of huge movers on my list this week. Things are really, really tight in my top 10. Let's get started. Honorable mention, once again, is Joey Logano. I know he finished top 5, but everyone else had good runs too, so he doesn't crack the list this week. He's still 14th in the regular season standings and has fewer top 10 finishes than anyone else you're about to see. So let's start with number 10. Martin Truex Jr. I think this is a season low for him. I'm tired of making excuses. They should have a win right now. Pocono is a big opportunity. They unloaded fast. Truex had the best 10-lap average in practice. Then he went out and qualified third, won the opening stage. But then they faltered. He still finished top 10 on Sunday, but the whole second half of the race, Truex was complaining about the handling going away. When they got back in traffic, they couldn't go forward the way Chase Elliott or Denny Hamlin could. The 19 team is certainly faster than 10th, but they've been lacking execution. And at some point, I have to reward other drivers and teams who've actually been able to win this season. Truex, James Small, they haven't proved that to me yet. Moving up one spot to the number 9 position is Alex Bowman. He backs up his big win at Chicago with maybe his second best race of the season, a third at Pocono. Bowman has been quietly consistent most of the year, but now he's starting to make some noise. He's up to 10th in the regular season standings, his best points position since the end of May. Alex Bowman at 9. At number 8, Brad Keselowski. He finished 7th at Pocono, but I believe he had a top 5 car. RFK, like the rest of Ford, seems to have figured out a variety of tracks. Chris Buescher almost won at Kansas, an intermediate. Brad Keselowski did win at Darlington, a unique intermediate. Brad's been good at the short flat tracks, also good at the big flat tracks like Pocono. And Keselowski has been good at Indianapolis historically, and he was good at Richmond, top 10 there in the spring. So I like these tracks coming up. Brad Keselowski at 8. At number 7, I hate to drop William Byron a position after he finished 4th. But when it's this tight, this is gonna happen. Early this year, Byron was at the top of the pyramid, but now he's just a part of this 10 to 12 driver scrum. And he still hasn't led a single lap in a month and a half. Pocono was good, qualified 2nd, earned a bunch of stage points, finished 4th. More of that, please. Can we see a run of these types of races from Byron like we did early in the season? Then he'll get back up in my top 5. For now, at number 6, I've got his teammate Chase Elliott. Similarly, I hate to drop Chase Elliott a spot when he arguably had the fastest car on Sunday. A rare, fluky speeding penalty cost Elliott potentially his 2nd win of the season. It's disappointing because while Elliott's had a lot of top 5 cars this year, he hasn't had many top 2 cars, so you hate to miss out on that opportunity. Elliott only has the 1 stage win. He's 10th in laps led. No one has executed better than Chase Elliott consistently this season. I just hope we see more race-winning cars like we saw at Pocono. One position ahead in number 5, I have to put Tyler Reddick. I've got to reward the guy for 7 top 10 finishes the past 8 weeks. He's climbed up to 3rd in the regular season standings, and it's tight on my power rankings. It's tight at the top of the points as well. I mean, Reddick is only 15 points behind Elliott. That's like a stage and a half. My only concern with Reddick is that I hope the lack of wins doesn't come back to bite him come playoff time. He messed up at the end of Darlington, Chicago, and if you asked him, he'd say he messed up at the end of Iowa. There's 2 or 3 possible wins right there that he's let slip through the cracks. On the plus side, he's in the mix almost every single week. That's why Tyler Reddick is in the 5 position. At number 4, I've got Ryan Blaney. Did he have the best car at Pocono? No, but it was probably top 5. Still led the most laps, 5th win in the last 9 weeks for Team Penske if you include the All-Star race. The defending champion has been in my top 10 all year long, but it's been a few weeks since I've had him in my top 5. 2 recent wins, 5 top 10s in the last 6 races. Yeah, that'll do it. Ryan Blaney, Team Penske on the rise, earlier than we're used to seeing Ryan Blaney at 4. At number 3, dropping 1 position this week, is Christopher Bell. Pocono was only maybe the 2nd time in the last 2 months that Bell didn't have one of the fastest cars. It was a weird weekend for Bell. As fast as he's been lately, he was the only Joe Gibbs Racing car to not qualify inside the top 10, and really he didn't run anywhere close to his teammates Denny Hamlin or Martin Truex Jr. all day long, even though he still got a decent, I think, 12th place finish. Pocono is a unique track, so maybe this is just a one-off, but maybe it's something to watch. At number 2, I've got Bell's teammate Denny Hamlin. Finally righted the ship with a 2nd place run. Hamlin also won a stage and again is part of that 4-way fight for the regular season championship, only 20 points back. Even though the results have been kind of bad the last few weeks, Hamlin still had winning cars at Pocono, Nashville. We don't know what he had at Sonoma because he blew a motor on lap 2. He also led 40 laps at New Hampshire. Denny Hamlin is consistently quick. That's why I've got him at number 2. And at number 1, once again, is Kyle Larson. He holds on, but he's not a lock anymore. Christopher Bell has been faster than Larson consistently for a few weeks now. Ryan Blaney and Team Penske have caught up. Shoot, Alex Bowman and Chase Elliott are starting to apply pressure on Larson from within his own race team. I have to respect that Larson is still neck and neck for the points lead. He's tied for the most wins this year with 3. He has the most laps led. And let's remember that if he doesn't speed on pit road with 40 to go at Pocono, he would have restarted in 1st position, the position Ryan Blaney ultimately assumed, and we saw how he went on to win the race. So Kyle Larson is still extremely fast, consistently, but I'm watching this space closely over the next few weeks. This top 10 is about as tight, as evenly matched as it's been all year long. Kyle Larson's crown is not fully secure. But let me know down in the comment section below if you agree or disagree with my power rankings this week. This was a fun one. It was a challenging one with how good everyone ran for the most part last week, but it was a fun one. Hope you guys enjoyed. That's going to do it for this episode, y'all. Thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe for more NASCAR discussion every single day, every single week, all year long. And a big thank you to my very generous Patreon supporters as always. I will see you all again soon. Have a wonderful rest of your Monday, folks. Thanks again for tuning in.